1944. What if I told you that a single penny from the 1940s, one you might have walked past 1,000 times, could now be worth more than a brand new car? The 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just another old cent. It's a piece of American history, forged during a time when the world was at war, and every ounce of copper meant something. And yet, somehow, this tiny coin has managed to outlast the chaos, holding a secret value few ever realized. Imagine a young soldier coming home in 1944, jingling a few pennies in his pocket as he stepped off the train. Among them was a simple, copper Lincoln penny, no mint mark, no shine, just a token of a time when every coin mattered. Decades later, his grandson finds that same penny tucked away in an old cigar box, never knowing that it was one of the few survivors of a minting mystery that collectors would spend years chasing. This was no ordinary coin, it was a glimpse into America's story, a time when even the smallest things carried great weight. The 1944 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is special because it came from the Philadelphia Mint, and that year, most pennies were supposed to be struck on bronze planchets after the steel cents of 1943. However, some were made on leftover steel planchets, creating a fascinating error that turned a humble penny into a collector's dream. Whether bronze or steel, these 1944 no-mint mark coins stand as rare transitional relics, and collectors are paying thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, for them depending on their condition and composition. This isn't just a penny, it's a piece of living history. So many people have spent this very coin without ever realizing what they had. Some gave it away in change at a diner, others left it in old jars, forgotten in attics and basements. And while they moved on, the few who recognized its rarity saw life-changing rewards. Imagine holding a small piece of copper that once bought a stick of gum, and today, it could buy you a car or even help pay off a mortgage. Those moments remind us, history rewards those who pay attention. If you come across a 1944 Lincoln penny, take a closer look. It should have no mint mark under the date, meaning it was made in Philadelphia. Feel its weight. If it's lighter or sticks to a magnet, you may have one of the ultra-rare steel versions worth a fortune. Even the bronze variants, in pristine condition, command high collector interest. The design should show Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front and the Monticello-style wheat reverse, a classic hallmark of America's wartime coinage. If you think you found one, don't guess, get it verified. Reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC can confirm its authenticity and assign it a value that could surprise you. Expert dealers across the country are on the lookout for these coins because demand for genuine 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies has only grown stronger with time. So before you spend that old penny or toss it back into the change jar, take a moment. That tiny coin might carry the weight of history, and maybe your next big opportunity. Check your drawers, your jars, and those old boxes in the attic. Because that forgotten piece of copper could be the key to something extraordinary. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you find history hiding in plain sight, one rare coin at a time. 1960. What if I told you that a simple penny, one you might have spent without a second thought back in the 1960s, could be worth thousands of dollars today? Yes, a humble 1960 Lincoln penny, the kind that jingled in your pocket during those golden days of American pride, could now be a collector's dream, silently sitting in someone's old coffee jar or tucked away in a dusty drawer. The story of the 1960 Lincoln penny is a fascinating one. Struck at the Denver Mint during a time when America was booming with optimism, these coins were meant to be ordinary, everyday tokens of commerce. But then, something unexpected happened. That year, the U.S. Mint produced two different versions, a small date and a large date variety. The mix-up caused confusion, and before anyone realized what was happening, millions of coins were already in circulation. Some of these pennies, especially the rare 1960 small date version, became treasures without anyone noticing. Imagine finding one decades later, realizing it's not just a penny, but a piece of living history worth far more than its face value. The 1960 small date Lincoln penny is highly sought after by collectors today. What makes it so special is the unique size of the date. The numerals, 1960, appear smaller and more compact than the standard issue. The D mint mark beneath the date shows it was minted in Denver, and certain examples even display a striking double die effect, where the details appear doubled under magnification. These coins in pristine condition can sell for thousands of dollars, and even circulated ones are worth more than most realize. Each one carries with it a tangible connection to America's golden mid-century era, a symbol of craftsmanship, history, and hidden value. There are countless stories of people who unknowingly spent their fortune away. One collector recently shared how his grandfather used to toss old pennies into a jar, never thinking twice about them. When that jar was finally sorted, they discovered a rare 1960 penny sitting right there, but sadly, many others like it had already been spent decades before. Moments like that remind us how easy it is to overlook the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. Every time someone dismisses an old coin as just a penny, they might be letting history, and opportunity, slip right through their fingers. So, when you come across a 1960 penny, take a closer look. If you see that small, tight date and the D mint mark just below it, you could be holding something far more valuable than pocket change. Examine it under a good light. The spacing, the shape of the numbers, and any signs of doubling can make all the difference. The more original the shine and the fewer the scratches, the higher its value climbs in today's market. If you think you found one, have it checked by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. These experts can authenticate your coin and assign it a grade, helping you know its true market worth. Many collectors have turned what seemed like ordinary finds into four-figure treasures simply by getting their coins properly verified. So before you dismiss that old jar of change in your kitchen or the box of coins tucked away in your attic, remember, your future could be hiding inside. The 1960 Lincoln penny isn't just a coin, it's a story of forgotten value, American history, and rediscovery. Take a moment to look closer, because sometimes, the smallest things carry the greatest worth. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you find history hiding in plain sight. 1962. What if I told you that a single penny minted in 1962, a simple copper coin you might have spent on bubble gum decades ago, could now be worth thousands of dollars? That's right. One small coin from your pocket change, bearing the D mint mark, has become a hidden treasure collectors across America are desperately searching for. Picture this, it's 1962. Gas is just 31 cents a gallon, Elvis is on the radio, and kids are trading pennies for baseball cards. Among those millions of coins that left the Denver Mint that year, a few carried a mysterious story, a story that would only be discovered decades later. One lucky collector in Colorado recently stumbled upon a 1962 Lincoln penny in an old cigar box his father had tucked away in the attic. What he thought was just a keepsake turned out to be a small fortune in his hands, a coin that told the story of America's past, pressed into copper. So, what makes the 1962 Lincoln penny so valuable? While billions were minted, a select few were struck with remarkable errors, double dies, off-center strikes, or an unusually sharp finish caused by a rare minting anomaly. Collectors cherish these coins not just for their beauty but for their connection to an era when craftsmanship met history. Some of these pieces, in pristine condition or with visible errors, have fetched eye-popping amounts at auction, sometimes reaching into the thousands. Many people once had these coins and never knew it. They spent them at the grocery store, dropped them into vending machines, or tossed them in coin jars, unaware they were letting go of something that could one day be worth far more than its face value. Imagine realizing that a penny you used to buy candy in 1965 could have paid off a car today. That's the kind of story that makes collectors stay awake at night, the thought of the treasure that slipped through their fingers. When you hold a 1962 penny, flip it gently and look closely under the date. If you see the small D mint mark just below, you're holding a piece struck in Denver. Now, examine the details: crisp lines on Lincoln's portrait, clear letters, and no scratches. If you spot any doubling on the date or lettering, that could be your sign of a valuable error. If you think you found something special, don't guess, get it verified. Reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, often revealing hidden value beyond what the eye can see. A professional appraisal can turn your curiosity into confidence, and possibly, a payday. That old jar of coins sitting in your kitchen? Don't overlook it. It might just hold your piece of American history, a little copper time capsule from 1962 waiting to change your life. Every coin has a story, and some stories are worth far more than you'd ever imagine. So before you spend another penny, take a second look. And if you love uncovering history hiding in plain sight, make sure to subscribe to Timeless Treasures. Because sometimes, the smallest things carry the biggest value. 1964. What if I told you a single penny from 1964, one that might be sitting quietly in an old jar or drawer in your home, could be worth far more than anyone ever imagined? The 1964 D. Lincoln Monticello penny isn't just a coin, it's a piece of American history that has captured the hearts of collectors across the nation. Some of these rare pieces have recently surfaced, leaving even seasoned coin experts speechless at their incredible value and story. Picture this, it's 1964, and America is in the middle of change. The Beatles are on the radio, gas costs just 30 cents a gallon, and a young man from Denver walks into a grocery store with a few pennies jingling in his pocket. One of them bears a tiny D under the date, a coin so ordinary that no one could imagine its future fame. Decades later, that same man's grandson discovers the coin in a dusty coffee tin while cleaning out his late grandfather's workshop. What he didn't realize at first was that this 1964 D. Lincoln penny was no ordinary cent, it was a treasure hiding in plain sight. The 1964 D. Lincoln penny, often linked to the Denver Mint, carries a fascinating story. Some of these coins display unique die errors and striking anomalies, small imperfections from the minting process that make them extraordinarily valuable to collectors today. Sharp details around Lincoln's portrait, subtle doubling of letters, or even slight variations in the Monticello design can turn this humble penny into a small fortune. Because 1964 was one of the last years before major changes in minting standards, these coins stand as the final symbols of an era of craftsmanship and American pride. Over the years, countless people have spent these pennies without a second thought, at a diner, a gas station, or maybe even slipped into a vending machine for a candy bar. Many never realized they held a hidden gem. Some of these rare 1964 D errors have sold for thousands, yet millions of others were lost to time, circulation, and neglect. The lesson? Never underestimate the value of what's already in your hands. History has a funny way of rewarding those who pay attention. When you come across a 1964 penny, check for that tiny D mint mark right below the date. It stands for Denver, where some of the most intriguing strikes were made. Look closely for doubling in the lettering of Liberty or In God We Trust, and examine Lincoln's face for crisp detail and clean edges. Flip the coin and study the Monticello design. If you see unusual spacing, extra metal, or a faint shadow of doubling, you may have something extraordinary in your hand. That if you think you found a special one, don't let it sit in a drawer another day. Have it professionally graded by trusted names like PCGS or NGC. These experts can authenticate and certify its rarity, potentially unlocking a value far beyond what you'd expect from a simple penny, that old jar of change sitting in your kitchen. It might just hold your future. Every coin tells a story, and the 1964 D. Lincoln Monticello penny is a reminder that sometimes, the smallest pieces of history carry the greatest treasures. So take a moment, look closely, and never stop searching, because your next great discovery might be hiding right in your own home. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover the history, and the fortune, waiting right before your eyes. 1965. What if I told you that a single penny from 1965, one that most people ignored, spent, or left at the bottom of a dusty jar, could be worth thousands today? Yes, that little brown coin you once saw in your change might just be a hidden piece of American history, quietly waiting to change someone's life. Back in the mid-1960s, America was changing fast. The country had just moved past the silver coin era, and the U.S. Mint was struggling to meet demand. It was 1965, a year of transition, innovation, and a few unintentional mysteries. Among those mysteries was the 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Thousands were struck, yet only a select few carried small, unnoticed differences that would one day make them legendary. One collector from Ohio shared that he found his 1965 penny in a jar his father left behind, untouched for nearly 40 years. When he finally had it appraised, that humble coin, weighing slightly off and struck with unusual sharpness, was valued at over $10,000. Imagine, a lifetime memory turned into a treasure. So, what makes the 1965 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny so special? While most 1965 pennies came from Philadelphia and had no mint mark, a rare batch was struck using transitional planchets, meaning some were accidentally made with leftover metal intended for earlier years. These coins carry unique weight differences, color tones, and sharper details in Lincoln's portrait and the Monticello design on the reverse. To collectors, these aren't just errors, they're stories frozen in time, physical proof of a moment when the mint itself was changing its course in American coinage history. There are stories, painful ones, of people spending these coins without a second thought. A retired teacher once recalled giving away her old penny collection to a neighborhood kid, only to later learn that one of those 1965 pieces was worth thousands. She said it felt like watching a memory slip away forever. These coins are out there, in drawers, coffee cans, or passed down unknowingly through generations. And every time one gets spent or melted, a piece of history vanishes. When searching through your old change, pay attention to the 1965 Lincoln pennies that feel a little different, a deeper tone of copper, a slightly lighter or heavier weight, or unusually crisp edges on Lincoln's bust and the Monticello building. Many of these coins went unnoticed for decades because they look so ordinary at first glance. But to a trained eye, that slight variation could mean a small fortune. That if you believe you found one, get it authenticated by a trusted grading service such as PCGS or NGC. These experts can confirm if your 1965 penny is among the ultra-rare transitional errors that collectors are paying premium prices for today. So before you dismiss that old jar of coins in your kitchen or the dusty box in your attic, take another look. That 1965 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny might just be more than a coin, it could be your link to America's past and your key to an unexpected future. Treasure your history, because sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest stories. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover the wealth of history hiding in plain sight. 1961. What if I told you that a simple penny from 1961, the kind you might have carried in your pocket as a kid, could now be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars? Yes, that small Lincoln penny with a tiny D mint mark below the date, the one you may have tossed into a jar decades ago, is now one of the most talked about treasures among collectors across America. Picture this: a man in Colorado cleaning out his late father's old tackle box finds a dusty roll of pennies wrapped in yellowed paper. Inside, sitting quietly for over 60 years, was a 1961 D Lincoln penny with a stunning, lustrous finish and an unusual die pattern. When he took it for appraisal, that single cent, forgotten since the early 60s, sold for over $2,000 at auction. It wasn't the metal that made it special, it was the story it carried, a story of American history, craftsmanship, and the kind of small miracle that still exists in everyday life. The 1961 D Lincoln penny, minted in Denver, may look ordinary to most, but certain versions of this coin hold incredible value. Some were struck with double die obverse errors, meaning parts of the date or lettering appeared doubled under magnification. Others have exceptionally sharp strikes or rare red proof-like finishes that survived the test of time. Collectors pay top dollar for pristine examples graded by PCGS or NGC, and as fewer are found in circulation each year, their demand continues to soar. Many people once spent these pennies without a second thought, at a diner, a gas station, or a candy shop back in the 60s. They had no idea those coins could one day become sought-after relics of American minting history. Imagine how many have slipped through hands, dropped into change jars, or been cashed in for face value at the bank. Every one of those moments was a small missed fortune. When you come across a 1961 penny with a D mint mark right under the date, pay close attention. Check for any doubling on the numbers or letters, inspect the color and luster, and note how sharp Lincoln's features are. The most valuable ones often shine with that original reddish tone, preserved perfectly for decades. Even lightly circulated examples can bring in surprising offers from eager collectors and dealers. That if you believe you found one, it's worth having it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC, two of the most trusted coin authentication companies in the world. They can confirm the rarity and condition of your coin, and once certified, its market value can increase dramatically overnight. So before you dismiss that jar of old change sitting in your kitchen, take a closer look. That 1961 D. Lincoln penny might not just be a memory from your childhood, it could be a small piece of history waiting to reward you. Because sometimes, the past doesn't just tell stories, it gives back in ways you'd never expect. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover history hiding in plain sight, one rare coin at a time.
What if I told you that a single penny, one you might have passed through your hands back in 1991, could be worth thousands of dollars today? Yes, just one small copper coin, sitting quietly in a drawer or an old jar, could hold the kind of value that turns ordinary change into extraordinary treasure. This isn't a myth or a rumor. It's the incredible story of the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, one of the most mysterious and sought-after coins in modern American history. Picture this, it's 1991, a time before smartphones and digital wallets. People still carried loose change, and the humble penny was part of every purchase. One evening, a man sorting through his coins at the kitchen table noticed something odd, a penny from 1991 with no mint mark beneath the date. He didn't think much of it at first. But years later, when that same coin surfaced at an auction, it stunned collectors everywhere. It wasn't just a penny, it was a printing mistake, a rare minting anomaly that turned an everyday coin into a prized collectible. That man's small moment of curiosity turned into a discovery worth thousands. Now, here's why the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is so valuable. Normally, pennies from 1991 minted in Philadelphia carry no mint mark, and that's perfectly normal. But a very limited number of these coins were struck using an unusually sharp die, resulting in a deep, bold strike and a distinct coloration. Certain examples have been found in pristine, uncirculated condition with near-perfect detail, something nearly impossible for a coin that old. These flawless examples, especially those graded high by PCGS or NGC, have fetched incredible sums at auction, with collectors eagerly paying top dollar to add them to their portfolios. Think about it, how many times have people tossed away pennies, thinking they were worthless? How many of these rare 1991 beauties slipped through fingers, spent on gum or soda, without a second thought? Some of the most valuable coins in history have been lost this way, simply because no one took a second to look closer. Don't let that be your story. In a market where collectors are constantly searching for rare and high-quality coins, these hidden gems are becoming harder to find every day. If you happen to come across a 1991 Lincoln penny, take a close look. The date should read clearly 1991, and there should be no mint mark under the year. Inspect the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, the fine lines in his hair, and the deep, clean edges around the coin's rim. If it appears unusually crisp, bright, and free from wear, that could be a valuable strike. Flip it over and study the Lincoln Memorial on the back. The details should be sharp and well-defined, with no fading or weak spots. If you believe you found one of these rare 1991 no-mint mark pennies, don't hesitate to get it professionally graded. Reputable services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, can confirm its authenticity and assign a grade that determines its market value. A verified coin can easily turn from pocket change into a collector's treasure, and the demand for these coins is growing stronger every year. So tonight, when you open that old coffee can or peek inside the jar of coins that's been sitting on your shelf for decades, take a moment to look closer. You might be holding a piece of history, a hidden fortune from America's past, quietly waiting for someone with an eye for detail and a heart for nostalgia to rediscover it. Because sometimes, the smallest treasures tell the biggest stories. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover the hidden wealth of history, one coin, one story, and one discovery at a time. What if I told you that a simple 2006 D. Lincoln penny, the same kind that might be sitting in your kitchen drawer right now, could be worth thousands of dollars today? Yes, the humble penny featuring President Abraham Lincoln and the famous Monticello design has shocked collectors across America with a rare and powerful twist that's capturing the attention of coin hunters everywhere. It all began in Denver in 2006, when millions of these pennies rolled out of the U.S. Mint. Most were ordinary, just another piece of copper-plated zinc meant to pass through countless hands. But hidden among them were a few mysterious errors, coins that somehow defied the minting process. Some collectors noticed strange doubling, others found unique die variations, and one coin in particular, with its Monticello reverse and subtle minting flaw, became the talk of the numismatic world. Imagine a man sorting through his old coffee can of change one rainy afternoon, only to realize the penny in his hand was no ordinary coin but a collector's dream worth thousands of dollars. That's the kind of discovery that turns a quiet afternoon into a life-changing moment. The 2006 de Monticello Lincoln penny stands out because of its extraordinary minting anomaly. On a few select coins, the Denver Mint produced slight die misalignments and faint doubling around the inscriptions and the Monticello building, tiny details invisible to the casual eye, but unmistakable to trained collectors. These rare variations transformed a 1-cent coin into a prized collectible, and the market demand for these pieces has only grown. Some examples have sold for staggering prices at auction, proving that even modern pennies can hold untold value when struck by history's hand. Over the years, countless people have unknowingly spent these treasures without ever realizing what they held. Imagine handing over a small fortune at a gas station, thinking it was just a regular penny. Those missed opportunities remind us all that fortune doesn't always come in gold, sometimes it comes in copper, and sometimes we let it slip right through our fingers. If you happen to have a 2006 D Lincoln penny, take a closer look. The mint mark D should appear just below the date. Check the Monticello design for any doubling on the lettering or unusual texture on the building's columns. Look carefully at Lincoln's profile. Some variations show light distortions or extra outlines along the face and coat. These details might seem subtle, but they could be your key to a highly sought-after piece in the collector's market. If you believe you found one of these rare pennies, don't rely on guesswork. Have it verified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. These organizations can authenticate and grade your coin, providing official documentation that dramatically increases its value and ensures you get the recognition and price it deserves. So before you dismiss that jar of old pennies gathering dust in your home, take one more look. Because sometimes, history hides in the smallest places, waiting for someone with curiosity and heart to uncover it. That single 2006 D Lincoln Monticello penny might just be your hidden treasure. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you find the history and the fortune that's been waiting in plain sight all along. 1995. What if I told you that a single 1995 Lincoln penny, one that looks just like the ones you used to toss into your pocket change, could be worth thousands of dollars today? Yes, the same copper-colored coin that's been resting quietly in jars, drawers, or old coffee tins across America might just hold a small fortune. Most people have no idea that one of the most mysterious and desirable versions of this penny, the 1995 no-mint mark Monticello Lincoln penny, has collectors and dealers in a race to find it. Let me take you back for a moment. It's the mid-1990s. Gas is cheap, the world feels simpler, and Lincoln pennies are everywhere, in pockets, purses, and cash registers from coast to coast. A man in Pennsylvania, sorting through a roll of pennies from his local bank, noticed something odd. Among dozens of regular coins, one penny seemed slightly different. No mint mark beneath the date. At first, he shrugged it off. But later, he learned that this small missing detail was no accident. It was an error, a rare printing oversight that turned an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. That discovery led to a quiet frenzy among coin hunters, all searching for that elusive 1995 no-mint mark penny. So, what makes this coin so special? In 1995, the Philadelphia and Denver mints produced millions of Lincoln pennies. Each mint leaves a tiny letter, a P or D, to show where it came from. But a rare batch of 1995 pennies were struck without that identifying mark. These no-mint mark versions slipped into circulation unnoticed, making them incredibly scarce today. To make things even more intriguing, some of these coins display a faint doubling on the obverse, particularly around the word liberty and in God we trust, a feature that can skyrocket its value into the thousands. Collectors today prize these coins not just for their rarity, but for their connection to a moment in U.S. minting history that almost never happened. Countless Americans have held one of these pennies in their hands and never knew it. Many were spent on a cup of coffee, dropped into vending machines, or thrown into donation jars, tiny treasures lost to time. The truth is, the 1995 no-mint mark penny has become one of those if-only coins. People who once dismissed it as just another cent now realize they might have spent what could have been worth thousands. The good news? Many of these coins are still out there, in your home, your change jar, or tucked inside an old wallet you haven't opened in years. If you ever find a 1995 penny, take a closer look at it. It should have no mint mark under the date, meaning it wasn't stamped with a P or D. Examine the front carefully. The image of Lincoln should be crisp, and if you look closely at Liberty or In God We Trust, you might even see light doubling in the letters. The back design, featuring the Monticello building, should remain sharp and well-centered. When you find one like that, you're not just holding 1 cent, you're holding a piece of American minting history that collectors are competing for right now. Before you celebrate, make sure to have it verified by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm the authenticity and condition of your coin, which can make all the difference in determining its true value. Once graded, these coins often fetch premium prices at auctions and coin shows across the country. So before you dismiss that old jar of coins sitting in your kitchen or garage, take another look. That simple penny you've overlooked for decades might just be your hidden treasure, a reminder that history has a funny way of hiding in plain sight. Because sometimes, the smallest things carry the greatest stories. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover the wealth of history sitting quietly in your pocket change. Your next great discovery could be just 1 penny away. 2006. What if I told you that a single 2006 penny, yes, just a plain-looking Lincoln cent without any mint mark, could be worth thousands of dollars today? Imagine reaching into your change jar and realizing that what you thought was just another copper coin from the grocery store could actually change your life. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But for a few lucky collectors, that's exactly what happened with the mysterious 2006 no-mint mark Monticello Lincoln penny. The story begins, as many treasures do, in the most ordinary of places. A retired teacher in Ohio was sorting through her late husband's old coin jars, something he'd collected since the 1970s. Among the faded nickels and worn-out dimes, she spotted a bright, flawless 2006 penny. It looked just like every other one, until she noticed there was no mint mark under the date. Curious, she sent it to be appraised, and what she learned left her speechless. That tiny coin, struck without a mint mark, wasn't supposed to exist. It was a rare minting anomaly, and collectors were offering thousands just to add it to their collection. Here's the truth behind the legend. In 2006, all regular Lincoln pennies were supposed to bear either a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But a small batch left the mint without any mark at all, a rare error that slipped through unnoticed. These coins are often called no mint mark Monticello pennies, because they show the beautiful detail of the Lincoln Memorial on one side but lack the identifying letter that tells where they were made. It's these tiny details, the ones most people overlook, that turn an ordinary cent into a collector's dream. Today, pristine examples of these no mint mark 2006 Lincoln pennies can fetch thousands of dollars, depending on condition, strike, and certification. Sadly, not everyone was so lucky. Stories have surfaced of people spending these coins without realizing what they held. Some tossed them into vending machines, others gave them to kids for gumballs or parking meters. Each time, history was quietly spent away, a small fortune gone in the blink of an eye. It's a reminder that treasure often hides in plain sight, waiting for someone with a keen eye and a bit of curiosity to recognize it. So, if you've got a collection of old coins sitting in a coffee tin or tucked away in a drawer, it's time to take a closer look. The 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny stands out by its clean, unmarked surface beneath the date. You'll see Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, the Monticello design on the reverse, and a perfect absence where the mint mark should be. The shine, the details, and the crispness of the lettering can all add to its value, and if yours happens to be in uncirculated or proof condition, it could be in high demand among collectors right now. If you think you found one, don't second guess it. Have it verified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. These experts can confirm its authenticity, condition, and potential market value. Many collectors are actively searching for verified examples of this coin, which means demand is strong, and so are the offers. So tonight, when you're sorting through that old jar of change, remember this: sometimes, life's biggest treasures aren't locked away in safes or banks. They're sitting quietly in the palm of your hand, waiting to be rediscovered. That 2006 no-mint mark penny could be more than a cent, it could be your connection to history, and perhaps even your key to a small fortune. So take a moment, look closer, and let your curiosity guide you. And if you love uncovering hidden treasures like this, subscribe to Timeless Treasures, because together, we're finding history hiding in plain sight. 2016. What if I told you that a single penny from 2016, one that most people have already spent without a second thought, could be worth thousands of dollars today? Imagine walking into a store, handing over a penny for change, and realizing later that you just gave away a tiny piece of American history. Sounds impossible, right? But the truth is, a rare 2016 no-mint mark Monticello Lincoln penny has become one of the most talked about modern coins in the collector's world, and it's quietly making headlines among those who know what to look for. Let me take you back to a small town in Ohio, where a retired schoolteacher named Margaret spent her evenings sorting through old coffee cans of coins left behind by her late husband. One night, she came across a shiny 2016 penny, nothing special at first glance. But something about it looked different: no mint mark under the date, and the texture of the metal felt almost too sharp, too pristine. Curious, she sent it to a grading service. Weeks later, the call came. It was a 2016 no-mint mark Monticello penny, one of the rarest minting anomalies of its kind. The value? Over $8,000 at auction. That simple coin from her husband's change jar became not just a treasure, but a memory, a connection to history, love, and luck all at once. Now, here's what makes this coin so extraordinary. In 2016, Lincoln pennies were minted at 3 main facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins are typically marked with a small p, but a small number were struck without any mint mark at all. This wasn't supposed to happen. These no-mark coins slipped through the cracks, making them highly sought after. Collectors call them accidental masterpieces, because they capture a rare moment when precision met imperfection. And because so few were made, demand for these no-mint mark 2016 Lincoln pennies has skyrocketed in recent years, with verified examples fetching huge sums online and in auctions. So many people have had these coins in their pockets and never knew it. Think about that: you might have used one at a gas station, handed one to your grandchild, or dropped one in a parking meter. Every time that happens, another piece of American history vanishes back into circulation. The saddest part? Some of the rarest finds have been sitting unnoticed in kitchen jars and dresser drawers for nearly a decade. Don't let that be your story. Don't be the one who almost found a fortune, and let it slip away. When you're going through your coins, pay attention to the date, 2016, and notice if there's no mint mark beneath it. Turn the coin over and study the details of the Lincoln Memorial and the word Monticello. The striking should look clean and sharp, with no signs of a P mint mark anywhere. If your penny fits that description, you might be holding something incredibly rare, something that collectors across the country are actively hunting for. If you think you found one, don't guess, get it confirmed. Services like PCGS and NGC can officially grade and authenticate your coin, giving it a verified market value that can transform an ordinary penny into a life-changing discovery. Local coin shops and reputable dealers can also guide you through the process. So before you toss that jar of change aside, take one last look. That simple 2016 penny could be your hidden treasure, a small piece of copper that carries big potential. Remember, the rarest finds often come when we least expect them. That old jar in your kitchen? It might just hold your future. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover the history, the beauty, and the hidden wealth waiting right in the palm of your hand. What if I told you that a simple 2017 Lincoln penny, the same one you might have tossed into a jar years ago, could be worth thousands today? Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But every so often, history hides in the most ordinary places, like the change in your pocket. And the 2017 Monticello Lincoln penny is proving that modern coins can hold extraordinary secrets. Picture this: a retired veteran from Denver cleaning out his old desk drawer, finding a small pile of pennies he hadn't touched in years. Among them, one caught his eye, a 2017 penny with a strange, doubled image on the reverse. Curious, he brought it to a local coin dealer. That single coin, once worth a single cent, turned out to be a rare variety worth several $1,000s. He couldn't believe it, something so ordinary, suddenly transformed into a piece of modern American treasure. And this isn't an isolated story. Collectors across the country have been hunting for these unique 2017 Monticello pennies ever since word got out that some carry a rare minting error, one that can turn pocket change into a payday. Now here's the truth: the 2017 Monticello Lincoln penny is special because of its rare die errors and striking anomalies that occurred during production at the Denver Mint. Some coins show doubling on the reverse, most noticeably around the Monticello building or the inscriptions, while others display off-center strikes or even partial planchet misalignments. These rare variations, especially in pristine condition, are in very high demand among collectors. Depending on the error and grade, some of these pennies have sold for hundreds, even thousands, of dollars in recent years. The combination of a modern date, a strong mint mark, and clear visible errors makes it one of the most sought-after coins from the last decade, and yet, countless people have already spent them unknowingly. Imagine that, buying a cup of coffee with a coin that could have covered your mortgage payment. It happens more often than you'd think. People overlook these small details, not realizing that value sometimes hides in plain sight. But the wise collectors, the ones who pay attention, they're the ones turning a simple habit of checking their change into a true passion and sometimes a fortune. When you pick up a 2017 penny, flip it over and look closely at the Monticello building on the back. If it carries the Denver Mint mark D under the date, you're in the right ballpark. Examine the lettering around E pluribus unum and United States of America. If you see doubling, misalignment, or a shadow-like outline around the letters, that's a sign you may have something special. And remember, condition matters. Shiny, uncirculated examples with visible errors are the ones collectors crave the most. If you believe you found one, don't rush to sell it at face value. Have it professionally authenticated by trusted grading services like PCGS or NGC. These experts can confirm the rarity and assign a grade that could dramatically increase its market worth. So before you toss that penny aside, take a second look. That small, forgotten coin in your drawer could hold more value than you ever imagined. Coins like these remind us that history isn't just in museums, it's in our hands, waiting to be rediscovered. So check your change, look closely, and who knows, your next great find could be sitting right in front of you. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover the stories, history, and hidden fortunes that time tried to forget. Because sometimes, the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprise.